Good morning, students. Welcome to Biology 5090. The topic of discussion is plant nutrition. In the previous class, we were discussing about the process of photosynthesis, and today we will see that what are the conditions important or necessary or essential for the photosynthesis, as well as the glucose produced as a result of the process of photosynthesis will be used up in different ways. So, what are the conditions necessary for photosynthesis? That are the presence of sunlight. Of course, the leaves or the plant will absorb the sunlight in order to break up or in order to breaking up or in order to photolyze the water molecules. That is the light dependent stage of the photosynthesis. So sunlight is very essential. Then chlorophyll, the green pigment present in the chloroplast of the plant cells, and the chlorophyll is responsible to absorb or to capture the sunlight. Carbon dioxide, that must be present in the atmosphere, that will be the source of the carbon. And water will be in the soil, and it will be taken up by the root and reaches the leaves, and in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and carbon dioxide, the process of photosynthesis will occur. The photosynthesis will not occur if any of the material above is absent, and this will ultimately cause the plant to die, because if there will be no photosynthesis, there will be no food for the plants, so the plant will die immediately. Now, the glucose formed as a result of the process of photosynthesis. What is the fate of that glucose? Glucose is either used up immediately or stored. So, there is a flow diagram of the usage of the glucose. It may be used immediately to provide energy. Glucose may be the source for respiration, as you know that respiration is the important characteristics of all the living organisms. And when there will be respiration, a large amount of energy will be released, and that energy will be used to turn sugars, nitrates, and other nutrients into amino acids, which build up proteins. Now, glucose will be used to make cellulose, the main structural material in cell walls of the plant cells. It may be stored as starch in leaves, seeds, roots, and tubers. Energy is stored in the form of sucrose in fruits. Glucose will also be used to make fats and oils, and the energy in the form of fats and oils will be stored in the seeds. Glucose will provide raw material for growth, repair, and replacement of the damaged parts of the cell. Now, what are the factors affecting the rate of photosynthesis? In this chapter or in this topic, we will only be discussing the external factors. And if we talk about the internal factors are basically the structural adaptation of the leaf, which we are going to discuss in later. So external factors are light. Light is green. Most of the light reflected in green color and absorbed in blue and red region. Number two, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is also a limiting factor. If it is present in the atmosphere more than a particular concentration, then it will not help in photosynthesis. So a particular amount or a particular percent is required for the photosynthesis. That is 0.036% in nature by volume. Higher concentration of carbon dioxide, reduced rate of photosynthesis. This is not the fact that if there will be more carbon dioxide, there will be more photosynthesis. No, because other factors are also required. Not only the carbon dioxide, but as we have discussed that water, temperature, sunlight, these are the factors affecting the rate. Temperature. Light reaction is independent of temperature because light reaction is mostly depending on the presence of water and sunlight for the photolysis of water. Oxygen. The presence of oxygen favors respiration rate, compete for certain common intermediate in the process of respiration and photosynthesis because of course cells have to respire. Water. In water, photosynthesis rate reduced because if there is a lot of water but there is no sunlight, then there will be no light dependent stage. So in water stress, photosynthesis rate reduced due to the closed stomata. We will discuss the opening and closing of the stomata in the next slide. Now the most important part of the photosynthesis, that is leaf. We will be discussing leaf structure and function. Leaf is the part most important of the sun plant as it is the site of photosynthesis. A typical green leaf has the following external features. You can see the petiole, veins, margin, the outline of the leaf, midrib, lamina. The broader part of the leaf is lamina. The midrib is the central vein. Margin is basically giving up the shape to the leaf. And the petiole holds the lamina away from the stem so that the lamina can obtain the sunlight and air. In some leaves, for example grasses, the petiole is absent. Such leaves have long lamina. Network of veins is also present, which is arising from the midrib, and these veins carry water and mineral salts to the cell present in the lamina, and these veins are responsible to carry back the food which has been prepared by the leaves to all parts of the plants. And what about lamina? Lamina has a large flat surface compared to its volume. It is thin but a large surface area to absorb the maximum amount of sunlight for photosynthesis. And a large thin lamina also means that carbon dioxide can rapidly reach the inner cells of the leaf. Now one more important thing is leaf arrangement. Leaves are always organized around the stem in a regular pattern, in such a pattern that they do not overlap each other and they all are maximum exposed to the sunlight so that they can absorb the sunlight. Now the internal structure or the cross section of a leaf showing the cellular arrangement and the site of photosynthesis. So you can see the first layer, that is cuticle. It is a waxy layer, then upper epidermis, then elongated green cell. These are palisade mesophyll cells. These are palisade mesophyll cells. They are abundant in chloroplast. This is the site of photosynthesis. Then bundle sheath cell, and inside the bundle xylem and phloem are present. Xylem is responsible for transporting the water from root to the leaves, and phloem is a pack of cell or phloem tissue is responsible for transporting or conducting the prepared food which has been prepared in the leaves by the process of photosynthesis to all parts of the body. So xylem and phloem are the transporting or the conducting tissues. Then you can see lower epidermis. There are some other mesophyll cells known as spongy mesophyll cells. They are arranged loosely, but palisade mesophyll cells are packed together. Right? In the lower epidermis, stomata are present, surrounded by the guard cells, and then the cuticle. This is the internal structure. Now in the next slide we will discuss about the special functions performed by these cells present in the leaf, because all of the cells are highly specialized to their function in order to perform photosynthesis. So adaptations of the leaf to photosynthesis. Waxy cuticle. Waxy cuticle prevents water loss but allows light to pass through the waxy cuticle and enter into the cell of the leaves. Upper epidermis, it is transparent and allow the light to pass through. It is also a protective layer to prevent any entry of the foreign particles or the pathogens inside the leaves. Then palisade mesophyll, they are tall, thin cells packed closely together, and they all have large number of chloroplasts. They allow maximum absorption of light, because chloroplasts have chlorophyll, and chlorophyll will be absorbing light for the photolysis of water. Spongy mesophyll, large air spaces allow gases to circulate in the leaf, because there is oxygen gas, there is carbon dioxide gas, and exchange of gases has to be taken place. So there must be space between the cells for the gases. Carbon dioxide has to diffuse into the cell for photosynthesis, and oxygen has to leave the cell. Lower epidermis has pores called stomata to allow carbon dioxide into the leaf, and guard cells can close stomata to reduce water loss. Opening and closing of the stomata will be discussed later. Xylem and phloem. Xylem brings water to the leaf, which is needed for photosynthesis. Phloem takes away some of the products of photosynthesis. Products of photosynthesis are glucose, that is food, that is organic molecule for other parts of the plants to utilize and for the storage. So this was all about the plants nutrition or photosynthesis. In the next classes we will be discussing about certain nutrients required by the plants and opening and closing of the stomata, and how do carbon dioxide and water enter the leaf. So what I would like you to do is please go through the book Matters Biology, and also if you have some other reference books, please go through those books and solve the questions, topic related questions in all the reference books, and we will arrange a meeting for the queries soon. Thank you so much. I wish you best of luck with this e-learning processes, and I hope that you will put some extra effort in order to understand the topics of every subject.